Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video. She's not feeling too well today. She should be back tomorrow, hopefully. But we're going to talk about Disney. We've got some dismal Disney news in this episode. Well, it's dismal for Disney. It's good news, I think, for animation fans. We're going to talk about how even more Disney animation legends and directors are leaving for Skydance to work with John Lasseter. God, this is crazy. They just made an announcement yesterday that the guy who directed Big Hero 6 and also Raya and the Last Dragon, also Strange World, but Big Hero 6, he's leaving for Skydance too. And he's not the only one. In the last 2 years, John Lasseter has been pulling all of his old colleagues over to Skydance. Now, Skydance and Paramount are going to be merging, and what is so crazy about this is that the head of Paramount Animation said that they were never going to work with John Lasseter. I don't think they're going to have a choice. In fact, one of the big talking points this week when they're talking about the merger between Paramount and Skydance is that they're going to get rid of redundancies. Guess who's probably going to get gone? Guess who's probably going to get replaced? I bet that Paramount, Skydance, whatever they're going to call this company, Paradance, Skymount, oh, that sounds bad. Whatever they call it, I guarantee you that if you get to choose between John Lasseter and whoever's in charge over there currently, they're gonna keep John Lasseter, because John Lasseter is the guy who made Disney a lot of money. He produced a lot of hits, Pixar and Disney Animation Studios, and we're seeing the result of John Lasseter being ousted. Disney is creatively bankrupt. They are. Their animation sucks. Most of the Disney movies that have come out after John Lasseter have been disasters, at least commercially, right? But Lightyear never would have happened on John Lasseter's watch. And I mean, we can talk about whether he did or didn't do the things they accused him of doing. I still don't know what they accused him of doing, to tell you the truth. He got a little too touchy-feely with people. He was dismissive. John Lasseter is a known hugger, or was a known hugger, and Disney didn't fire him on the spot. They actually let him ride out his contract until the end, and then they put Pete Docter in charge. My gut feeling on this, and I could be wrong. I didn't work with him. I don't even know him. I know people that did work with him, but I know he can be difficult to work with because he wants things done a certain way, but that's most people who are good at what they do want things done a certain way. But my gut feeling is there were people gunning for his job, and they saw an opportunity. And we've seen this happen time and time again. And Me Too was a thing when he got ousted. It was like 2018, 2019. And again, it was very nebulous. It wasn't like, well, he did this specific thing. It was like, no, he just made us kind of uncomfortable and didn't listen to us. And they sort of pushed him out. And then, it wasn't just Paramount that went on the attack. We had Women in Animation. Margaret Dean from Women in Animation went on the attack and penned an open letter about John Lasseter. And that, he needs to be ousted from the animation industry. And how dare Skydance hire this guy? Well, weirdly enough, right after Skydance hired him, he started pulling all these Disney veterans over to Skydance, and some of them were women. I'm like, well, if he was that toxic, why are they working with him? I'm just saying. So I think he's basically going to rebuild Pixar at Skydance, or rebuild Disney Animation Studios at Skydance. Now, luck wasn't that good. I heard people said luck wasn't that great, but whatever. He's putting the dream team together. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. So let's talk about this. This is very, very interesting. It also shows that Paramount and or Skydance, once this merger happens, that they're going to focus heavily on animation, and they're going to apparently sell it to Netflix, I think is what they're doing. They're pulling their deals from Apple TV and they're going with Netflix, and Netflix can absorb the losses if there are any, because they're bigger. They're bigger than Disney at this point. So yeah, they can totally bankroll animation. They've actually been very good at bankrolling animation, even some of it not being that great, but they're known for at least being somewhat favorable two animated series and movies. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, no woohoos. She'll be back. She'll be back tomorrow. Promise, she'll be back tomorrow. Go out to Indiegogo, support indie comics, support indie ideas. Shadowbinders Volume 3. Printing coming later this year. Working on it currently. A little bit of a production delay. It's going to be a couple months later than I was hoping for, but we're getting there. We're firing the machine back up again, the Shadowbinders machine. So, steampunk fantasy romantic comedy, if this sounds like your thing, written by Geeky, drawn mostly by me. We've got a little bit of help here and there, but it is coming your way later this year. Check that out on Indiegogo. Thank you so much for the support. This is your second chance offer. We did the initial drive last fall on our own store, and it went okay. We had a lot of people who were international backers who couldn't back it, but yeah, we're giving you another chance. So yeah, again, just to catch you guys up, Disney, string of box office failures, especially in animation, ever since John Lasseter left, and now they're signing even more Disney talent. This is coming from the Wrap yesterday. Big Hero 6 filmmaker Don Hall decamps Disney for Skydance animation. Now you're thinking, again, this is just like one guy. No, this is like they are pulling everybody. It's like a black hole. Skydance is taking everybody from Disney that has mattered in the last 10 years in the animation. And I think this is John Lasseter's revenge. I think it is. I think it's his revenge is like, I am going to take all these people with me. It's like Jerry Maguire, right? The Wrap says Big Hero 6 filmmaker decamps. The director's Disney career also includes Raya and the Last Dragon. Haven't seen it. The Princess and the Frog and Strange World. I'm sorry, dude. I'm really sorry. Skydance Animation has closed a deal with Academy Award-winning filmmaker Don Hall, who directed Big Hero 6, a huge hit for Disney. Raya and the Last Dragon, and Strange World, one of their biggest flops. I'm sorry about that. But that he might have been, look, to be honest, there's a big difference between the Disney that put out Big Hero 6 and the Disney that put out Strange World. He might have been saddled with a lot of mandates. I mean, we did a video yesterday talking about how ridiculous Disney has gotten that even Dr. Facilier is problematic now because he uses voodoo. Like the entire plot of The Princess and the Frog revolves around voodoo, and they can't use Dr. Facilier in the ride reportedly because he practices voodoo. And Mama Odie now is a godmother, fairy godmother, and not a practitioner of voodoo. Like, what the frick? Hall is going to create, develop, and produce an original animated feature for Skydance, but no project details are available at this time. He began his career in Disney in the 90s, working as a story artist on Tarzan, The Emperor's New Groove, love that movie, and Brother Bear. He had a screenplay credit on Meet the Robinsons, massively underrated movie. I love Meet the Robinsons. Massively underrated movie. And was artistic story supervisor on The Princess and the Frog. In 2011, he made his directorial debut on Winnie the Pooh, a hidden gem of an animated feature that had the misfortune of opening the same weekend as the final Harry Potter movie. Yes, it actually was pretty good. He went on to direct Big Hero 6. He was co-director on Moana and later directed Raya and the Last Dragon and Strange World back-to-back, an almost unheard of accomplishment in the slow and steady world of animation. With the move to Skydance, Hall's project, one, I guess. They'll probably get more if it does okay. Hall's project joins a growing roster of exciting upcoming features from some of the industry's biggest talents, most of them former Disney employees. Later this year, Spellbound will be released through Skydance's partnership with Netflix. The movie is from Shrek director Vicky Jensen. And yeah, again, we had women leaving their respective positions to go work with John Lasseter. Vicky Jensen with a script by Disney veteran Linda Wolverton and new music from Alan Menken. Alan Menken is synonymous with Disney, and he's going to Skydance. Do you not see a problem here, Disney? All of your best talent are going to Skydance. That's going to be followed by Puku from Nathan Greeno and Brad Bird's sci-fi noir movie Ray Gun, which I'm actually looking forward to. I love Brad Bird. And Tomorrowland was half of a good movie, and I feel like it should have been animated, but whatever. There's also an untitled Jack and the Beanstalk project from Zootopia director Rich Moore in the works. So they've got the director of Zootopia. They got Brad Bird. They got Alan Menken. They got John Lasseter. And now they got the guy who did Big Hero 6. I mean, seriously, Disney. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. Yeah. Bruce Anderson was named head of production at Skydance Animation. This guy did Ferdinand and Rio 2, and he's the head of production over there. So they're getting people from Blue Sky Studios. I think it was Blue Sky did that too. I'm just saying, it's going to be very interesting to watch this space, because that is the one thing Disney was known for, was animation. And if Skydance does what Disney don't in the next couple of years, and look, everything could be like luck and it could be a misfire, but if they manage to pull it off, they basically just taken everything that Disney was doing and they moved it over to Skydance to work with Netflix. Just like Universal has beaten Disney in the theme parks. They're doing everything Disney used to do. They're doing it. Like, what do you have, Disney? You have all this IP that you've destroyed. You have all these brands that you've destroyed. Star Wars is worthless. Marvel is getting there. Pixar, without John Lasseter, is pretty worthless. I don't know how Inside Out's going to do, but I don't think it's going to do that great. I really don't. I think they're concerned about it. I think it's hilarious. I think it's absolutely hilarious that they tried to cancel John Lasseter, and in getting rid of John Lasseter, Disney basically got rid of all of their best talent in animation, and they're following John Lasseter. So he can't be that toxic. If they're all going to work for John Lasseter, including a bunch of women, he can't be that toxic. Either that, or they're just rats fleeing the ship because they're looking at Disney and they're like, you guys have lost the plot. We're going someplace else. I don't know, but there it is. We're going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.